Revision raps. Revision raps. Revision raps. Early childhood development. Now you're out there. And you're not done yet. Human development is actually pretty slow, it's quite sure. Parents care for their offspring for nearly 2 decades, sometimes more. Given children's capacity and the amount that they have to learn, generally it's better to have a longer period of dependency. 3 major aspects of development are notable: sensorimotor, cognitive and socio-emotional. The relative impact is fluid and ambiguous because the dimensions interact and mutually influence. Up to 15 months, baby's brain growth's tremendous. 100,000 connections form in every second. Though at 2, 6 and 10 there'll be growth in spurts. The senses function quite well, which we show at birth. Through our ears we hear tones and pitches. Nearsighted but we see lights and colours of pictures. In motor control there's more limited effects, but still a grasping, sucking and a rooting reflex. It improves. By 3 months you roll over in a ball. 6 months you sit up. By 12 you walk or crawl. Of course these are approximations, there are many variations. And remember, the physical influence is cognitive arrangements. Children develop stage by stage. Everything happens at a different age. Sensorimotor, preoperational, concrete and formal. That's the stage theory of John Piaget. Children develop stage by stage. Everything happens at a different age. Sensorimotor, preoperational, concrete and formal. That's the stage theory of John Piaget. Young children and adults don't think the same hard way. That's the basis of the stage theory of John Piaget. He suggested that generally, depending on what the child's age is, cognitive development happens in distinctive stages. Up to 2 years, an infant's world has but her own sensations known to her. Piaget described this stage as sensorimotor, with no sense of object permanence. That's the comprehension that objects exist independent of our perception. Observing where they looked for toys that he left, Piaget demonstrated this stage by the A not B effect. Object permanence can take up to 2 years to sort. It's important because it gives the capacity for representational thought. Now we develop schema, mental patterns about the world and our interactions. First schemas develop in babies' built-in reactions to things in the world subject to sucking and grabbing. According to Piaget, all cognitive development comes through the combination of 2 mental processes: assimilation and accommodation. Assimilate when we use existing schemas to interpret objects. Accommodate when experience changes a schema's contents. Through these processes we create new schemas, compounding the ability to make sense and interact with the surrounding vicinity. Integrating schemas breaks connections between objects and specific experience, enhancing the sense of an object's independent existence. Wow, there's a world out there, but you're only just beginning to discover it. You're not even operational yet. In fact, you're still pre-operation. 2 to 7 years is the pre-operational period. Object permanence is developed, but it's before the manipulation of mental representations is evident. They lack conservation skills. This is the cognitive quality to understand that changing appearance doesn't alter quantity. Seeing juice poured from one glass to another and being asked to choose. Children thought the wider, shorter glass held less of the juice. Changing the size of the gap in a line of counters. Children think the longer line will have a larger amount of, because of inability to comprehend the interrelation between the different dimensions of the situation. To combine separate aspects of perceptual experience into one conceptual unit, children fail by lacking the higher order schemas required to do it. 7 to 11 is the period known for concrete operations. Children have learned to interrelate mental representations. Conservation skills are mastered, and so appropriately conceived concrete operations can now be achieved. The final stage is formal operational. From 11 or 12 happens to be, and it is now possible to think hypothetically and abstractly. Sensorimotor, preoperational, concrete, formal. He saw it so clearly. These are the stages of Piaget's stage theory. Children develop stage by stage. Everything happens at a different age. Sensorimotor, preoperational, concrete and formal. That's the stage stage theory of John Piaget. The critique of Piaget is that in many instances he underestimated the intellectual capacity of infants. Others saw that experience is often organised by primitive concepts of objects, numbers, even other minds. Early conceptions of the physical world and mathematical appreciation, cited in studies of occlusion and habituation. Occlusion meant hiding objects, observing what response it drew. Habituation led to a different response to the familiar and new. Opponents of Piaget's portrayal of object permanence suggested evidence that infants may possess a simple sense of an object's independence, as well as primitive theory of mind, basic perceptions of others' intentions, their beliefs and their preference. So why do kids fail to show conservation skills in the testings? Well, maybe it depends on how you ask the questions. The kid might be thrown off when you ask him twice. He might think that you're repeating yourself because his first answer wasn't nice. Children develop stage by stage. Everything happens at a different age. Sensorimotor, preoperational, concrete, formal. That's the stage theory of John Piaget. Children develop stage by stage. Everything happens at a different age. Sensorimotor, preoperation, concrete, formal. That's the stage theory of John Piaget. John Piaget, yeah, never learned to sing. John Piaget, what a man. Piaget, Piaget.